What's up, kinfolk? Welcome to Adapt and Respond with me, RJ Young. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button and liking this video because we talk college football year round. And if you're into that, answer this question in the comments below. Do you think that Indiana has an argument, a good argument, for being the number one ranked team in Tuesday night's college football playoff rankings revealed on the first week that we're actually going to get those? And we're going to do this for the next 4 weeks, and we're going to try to find out just who the best team in college football is. And if you believe that Ohio State is a better football team than Indiana, I'd like to hear what you think in the comments below, and vice versa, because we're getting to the point where some separation is going to have to happen. I don't mind telling you, I'm excited about this part of the year. I'm very excited because we're always going to get some moving and shaking. Someone that starts in the top 10 will inevitably fall out, and someone who doesn't feel like they got a shot might edge their way in to being in that first round game, which could make it one of the 6-7 best games of the postseason. But we'll wait and see, because I always like to watch what the College Football Playoff Selection Committee is going to get wrong. And more importantly, I always like to watch who's got some fight back in them. And that's one of the reasons I really love a 24-team playoff as well as a 12-team playoff. I'm glad that we got a playoff. It's one of those things that I myself had been really trying to sell since I started covering the sport 20 years ago. I always thought it was stupid that we picked a national champion rather than let the scoreboard decide. And if that had been the case, probably would have seen Ohio State be a Big Ten champion the last few years. Maybe not, given what Michigan was able to do in 2023, but maybe 2022, 2021, there are enough petty voters out there who just don't want to watch the scoreboard, right? On the other hand, if you take a look at what the conference championship might look like for the Big Ten, you might be shocked to find out that Ohio State is the favorite to win the Big Ten title at -165, according to my bookie, and Indiana is the second favorite, second best team, has the second best odds to win the Big Ten championship at +171. Everybody else goes into quadruple digits, followed by like Oregon, Michigan, USC, Iowa, Nebraska, Washington. So really, we're talking about 3 teams in there, maybe Michigan, but that's a little bit further into the segment. The reason I bring that up is if you feel that you have a sense of what Ohio State might do this year, like run the table, maybe you want to get that action on my bookie. And if you do, use my promo code RJ Young, all caps, all one word, and you can get your first bet covered up to $500, meaning that if you played it and for whatever reason Ohio State doesn't win, you hit the bet back bonus token and they make you whole again so you can play again. That's RJ Young at my bookie. That's the promo code. Go ahead and use it. And if you're thinking what I'm thinking, which is that Ohio State is the best team in the country and has the best opportunity to go back to back since 2021, 2022 Georgia, then perhaps this argument for Indiana feels a little far-fetched, or maybe it just feels on the nose. It really depends on what you think about Indiana this year versus last year and what they can do in the big boy moments. So Indiana has better wins than Ohio State, right? That's if you're looking at the scoreboard and you're looking who they played and common opponents and or ranked opponents and what their records are now, not what they were when they got started, say like Penn State, who has lost the last 5 straight after beginning the season at the number 2 team in the country. Texas, who's a 2-loss team fighting for their playoff life every single week, but still a ranked team. You're thinking, okay, this is Indiana, who went to Autzen and did what Ohio State couldn't do last year, which is not just win at Oregon, but win by double digits decisively. The only team to test this Indiana team so far this season is Iowa, and they did it with Phil Parker's defense, and Phil Parker's coordinated one of the best, I would say a top 5 defense each and every year for the last 5 years. Well, one of the real underappreciated assistant coaches, I think, in college football history is Phil Parker. Right? When you think about the guys that he has developed over there and the guys that played in that system and how good that defense has been in the playoff era, it is remarkable what he's been able to do. But again, Indiana had a historically large win margin against what was a top 10 Illinois team before they dispatched them. The same Illinois team that scored the most points on Ohio State than anybody scored all year in 16. So if you're looking at common opponents and you're looking at strength of record, you're probably going to go with Indiana. And I see that. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. However, when you look at what Ohio State has been able to build offensively and defensively, man for man, dude for dude, unit for unit, I think they're far and away the best team in college football. And let's not forget, it ain't Indiana that beat Ohio State last year. In fact, it's Indiana that got smashed by Ohio State last year. And it's going, well, we're not thinking about last year. If we're not, then throw out Ohio State against Oregon last year, right? Like if we're not thinking about what happened last year. We're also getting into championship November where pressure breaks pipes. And while Indiana has played outstanding, they've fallen behind. Not very much at all, but their schedule kind of softens up the rest of the way in a huge way. They ought to be undefeated at the end of the season, and they could be playing in the Big Ten championship game against Ohio State. Now, what I find fascinating about this is what happens if Michigan can hand Ohio State a fifth straight loss, and what might happen to Ohio State if they take that loss in Ann Arbor. It's a little bit further down the road, but I think you get my point here. It's not just that Ohio State is looking to go back-to-back. It's that they're looking to get their first win since 2019 against Michigan. Had Michigan not pulled out due to COVID, asterisks, we might have seen the end of the Jim Harbaugh era right there in 2020. They were bad. They were 2-4, and Ohio State already wanted to beat the snot out of them to begin with, and they wanted even more because there was this whole kerfuffle about what Jim Harbaugh and Ryan Day had said to each other on like a call trying to put together the season, and it was going to be named the number on Saturday for Ohio State. Like the reporting was Ryan Day was hot, and Jim Harbaugh was like, fight me. And then when it came time to fight, they canceled the game for the first time in like 100 years, man. It was just wild. And then Jim Harbaugh comes back with Connor Stallions. They build a program that can go win the Big Ten championship, make the college football playoff, and they do that 2022, 2023, and they win the national championship, and he bolts to the NFL just in time for the NCAA to hand down its penalties and fines. Meanwhile, the Buckeyes have losses against Oregon last year and Michigan and still ran the postseason table, won the national championship, and have looked every bit like a team you just don't want no truck with, lest you lose that trade. You know what I'm saying? I think that the committee is going to say, Ohio State is defending national champion. They are undefeated. We will treat them with that proper amount of respect. Indiana is historically the losingest program ever in FBS history. We're going to appreciate that Indiana is undefeated and looks like a world-class football team right now and rank them at number 2. We are not going to treat them as if they won a single game in the college football playoff, and we're not going to treat them as if they did not get stomped out by Ohio State last year and beat down by Notre Dame last year. And yeah, that win against Oregon, great for you. Outstanding. Really enjoy that for you. However, this is also an Oregon team that needed double overtime to beat a Penn State team we now know is trash, is garbage, is really, really bad. And that was when Penn State was at full strength. So if you want to play that game, you go right ahead. But me, I'm going to pick the Buckeyes to be number 1. I will be rather amused if the select committee decides to do something different.